Hello hockey fans and welcome to this video. I was watching on the RDS, the French version of the English TSN, and I was looking at what Marc Bergevin had to say about the year of the Montreal Canadiens, year 2014 and 2015. It was a great season for the Habs. They ended the season second in the NHL. They stopped in the playoffs in the second round. It was a little bit disappointing for the playoffs, but everything considered, Marc Bergevin had a lot of positive things to say about his team. First, in the regular season, great performance by Carey Price, by the likes of Subban, Pacioretty, Markov. Some of the veterans out there did very well. Young players like Gallagher and Galchenyuk performed very well. I was very pleased to hear about that. The Canadiens are doing well. And following this, there was the playoffs. The Canadiens did well in the first round against Ottawa, but they ended up losing to Tampa Bay. Marc Bergevin insisted that the Canadiens are similar to the Lightning and the Rangers. They can go further into the playoffs, but there's still a lot of work to be done because this year, as Bergevin described, it was a transition year. So the Canadiens were not expected to go all the way to the Stanley Cup to begin with. It was a transition year. You could see that through the whole leadership issue. We're still looking for a captain. There's one that's going to be named in the near future, but this is a decision that needs to be made by Bergevin and Therrien. One member of the media asked, why aren't the players voting about this? Why don't you give them the right to decide that? And Bergevin said, look, we're looking for the most suitable player to wear the C. So we're not just gonna leave it to the players. We want to make the best decision possible. So in that regard, Bergevin and his team are going to make a decision. Next, we ask about Alex Galchenyuk. What do you make about his progress so far, because he just completed his third year? Bergevin said he's very satisfied with the way he has progressed. This year, great year for Galchenyuk, 50 points, 20 goals. This is a good year, and also Galchenyuk is the best player from of all the players that have been drafted 3 years ago. Galchenyuk is the one that has performed the best offensively. But Bergevin mentioned, for now, Galchenyuk, he's a winger. He's not an established center. He could be a center in the future. He may not be a center in the future. It all depends how he performs. Simply because he's still young, and at this point, Galchenyuk doesn't have the ability to go back in defense and support the defenseman. Right now, he plays well as a winger, just like he did in Sarnia. In Sarnia, Galchenyuk was playing center, and then he was moved to the wing. So that's a little bit what's happening right now with the Habs. Galchenyuk is playing as a winger. He could play a little bit as a center, but for now he is a winger. Next, we ask about Jeff Petrie. Jeff Petrie played very well, and he is a priority for the Habs this year. So Bergevin, he definitely wants to negotiate with Petrie. He is interested. Petrie is also interested, but we still need to see what is going to happen because we don't know about the cap space for next year. We're still waiting. We also need to know what move we can do within the organization before we get to Petrie. I believe he will negotiate with Petrie, and I believe the two sides will find some common grounds on a new contract. But I believe Petrie will be an important addition to the Habs, especially considering that Markov is really getting older. We need a defenseman that can move the puck and support the offense. Jeff Petrie seems to be that guy. We also ask about anything about the roster that may change. And Bergevin mentioned here there are 3 players who are not coming back next year. Sergei Gonchar, Mark Weaver, and forward Manny Malhotra. These 3 players, they're all veterans. Malhotra he missed a lot of games at the end of the year entering the playoffs. That was very unfortunate for him. Gonchar, he's a good puck-moving defenseman. Mike Weaver, he's a hard-working defenseman. They're not coming back. We really give a chance to the young players to come up and play for the NHL, play for the Habs. I believe Bowyer's gonna have more time. Tenordi will have more time. What's his name? Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. There's another one. I'm sorry. I really forgot his name. When I remember it, I'll mention later in the video. Still, the Canadiens, they've got a good core of young players that can step up and play in the NHL. What's really unfortunate is that the Bulldogs were not very. They're not a performing team, but they have some good individuals that play there. And Bergevin said, "Look, we always want to have better players. For instance, we would like to add a 20-30 goal scorer in our team. We would like that. But the thing is, we cannot just look for a player like this because they are not available. We need to develop within our system." And he was mentioning about forwards. There are players such as Nikita Sherbak in the junior major. There's Jacob Delarose and Andrew Ghetto that are doing well in the minor league that we can call up in the future. So the strategy for Bergevin is to develop within our system, and that does make sense because if Bergevin wants to get a good player, either he has to sacrifice his future to get one good player, or he has to develop within his system, and that's what he's doing right now. He's not going to sacrifice anything. He's going to be patient with the players and see what they can do for his team. Next, we mentioned about, what is it? There was one member of the media that really sounded, I'd say, unprofessional. He really sounded like he didn't know what he was talking about, and he tried to ask a question that could have been interesting, but in fact is not. The man was asking if the Canadiens would be interested in Mike Babcock, the head coach. And he didn't say it directly, but it's like he was asking, do you think Terrier did a crappy job, and are you going to fire him? And Marc Bergevin said he was really disappointed in that question. He's not mad, but he was really disappointed, and he said, look, here's what Terrier has accomplished for his team. Within the last 3 years, the Canadiens they finished either second or third in terms of playoff appearances, round plays, games played, and wins. The Canadiens are behind Chicago and the New York Rangers. Maybe behind the LA Kings because they won the Stanley Cup. But there are only 2 or 3 teams that have done better than the Canadiens in the playoffs. And Bergevin said, look, if you think Terrier did a crappy job, then I'm really disappointed to hear that because Terrier did a fantastic job. He has great communication skills. He and his team are always with the players talking, finding ways to play better, and there's no way that Bergevin is going to fire anyone in his coaching staff because they're doing a good job. So after this, he asked, anyone in this room, did I ever mention that I was displeased with Terrier's work? And the whole room went quiet. The whole room was silent. And at that time, I was laughing like, why would that guy ask Bergevin if Terrier did a crappy job? And why would he be interested in Mike Babcock? There's no need to change what is not broken. Sorry. So that's pretty much what Bergevin said. We're not going to make any changes because right now we are pleased with what we have seen. So that's pretty much it. What do you think personally? Personally, I am very satisfied with the team. I do believe we need a top 3 forward, a right winger in particular. We need the Canadiens to have a winger that can score goals and can play with Pacioretty with Plekanec or Galchenyuk, depending who's going to play center at that time. But yeah, the Canadians need a productive winger to play with Pacioretty and to score goals, please. We need that. I like the direction the Canadians are going to. Who's going to be the captain? Bergevin is going to decide that. How are we gonna get better players? It will be through the drafting and the development, and also what do we do with Petry and Galchenyuk? That remains to be seen. But there's definitely going to be some negotiations going around. So that's pretty much what I had to say. I'm really pleased with what I have learned from this time from Marc Bergevin. What do you guys think about the year from the Montreal Canadiens? Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you guys later.